Good morning, Vietnam. Sorry, wrong place. Yes, it's Joe. I'm taking over. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Is everybody here? Who's here? Anybody here? I hear somebody knocking 3 times on the ceiling. Uh-huh, Dottie, I see ya. Who's all here? Can everybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Can't see anything yet. We're starting on time today. All right. All right. Well, hopefully we'll bear with my internet and we'll be all solid and be able to get things going. How many people here have dealt with IVR? I'm just sort of curious. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Give me a 1 if you've dealt with IVR before. I'm curious. Yeah. Okay. I see. Chris. Okay. Rick. Rich. Chris. All right. Great. A little bit, Steve. Okay. Great. All right, well, that's what we're going to be going over is IVR. We're going to dig deep into IVR. I'm actually going to show you a real campaign. I should say real. I'm going to build it in front of you and show you something that's actually in use. It's not going to be like live, like links to real customers, as I can't do that. I would love to do that. But I'm going to show you a real process that has actually made me personally some money. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. It'll be a little bit different than just straight tech. And at the same time, you can actually maybe even start a business with it. Who knows? It's a little bit different than straight birthday marketing. It's going to be straight IVR, real super simple to set up and I think to sell. And I don't see hardly anybody doing this. That's what I kind of like about it. So if you guys are ready and excited about it, give me a 1 and let me know and I'll get started. I'm just teasing. I'm going to start either way. All right. All right. All right. Thank you. Yep. You're welcome, Rich. Yep. Okay, great, great. All right, so let's get started. Let me find the share buttons and everything. Let's see. Screen monitor 1. Let me know if you can see a blank screen. It has my little image there at the bottom. Okay, good. Let me get my PowerPoint slide going here. All right, we're winging it without Jason, so hopefully we can do this okay. All right. Yeah, Jason is not, he's under the weather. He's just had all that surgery done and he can't even talk. I should have had him on here just for some entertainment, but he can't talk right now. He's having a hard issue with a lot of stuff there going on, but he'll be back up and running here very shortly. But let me get going here. So the tech corner has started. We're going to start with the IVR stuff, and I'm going to show you guys how to set up. Oops, went right past it. How we're going to set up a lead machine for a rental business, okay? But you can apply this for all kinds of things, and I'm going to dig deep enough so you guys can understand IVR and hopefully use it for other things besides just this. But you can also just set this up for this. So I'm going to set this up basically by starting with a campaign. Yeah, we're getting right into it, guys and gals. There's this place called KYD, and we're going to set up a KYD rental campaign. And we're going to start by creating the campaign first, just because I kind of like to go there first. If you went through a proper workflow, you might create the IVR first and then come back to the or go to the campaign. But I like doing the campaign first and kind of walking through it. All right. So, but anyway, so we give it a name, we give it the country, and we go on to step 2. I just chose SMS and email and Bitly. Doesn't really matter. And then I gave it a campaign number. Of course, that's a fictitious number, so don't even try it. And a campaign keyword called rent me. And the welcome message I have in here, this is all you got to do to set this campaign, by the way, up. So give it a campaign number, give it a campaign keyword, and then the welcome message is just click this link to see more information about this property. I went to Bitly and created a link to that property with Bitly, so it would be really nice and tight and short. And those are the only 3 fields you need to fill out on this step. It's just that. We're going to skip this for now. This is where we select an IVR, but we're going to come back to this a little bit later, okay? And then we're going to go over to step 4, and we're going to choose to enable SMS and API lead notification and full lead notification, because we want to be able to tell the customer we want to be able to text the customer every lead, and we also want to be able to set up 2-way communication. This is all done on step 4. So you're going to get a little bit of two-way setup here, but I'm going to choose just SMS. I don't need to choose email. And then further down, right below it, is you'll see a place to put a text message. And here we want to give the rental property the actual phone number that asked for the info about the property, and let them know that somebody asked for it. So we just gave that information there. And then we want to send it to a phone number, so we put the actual rental company's phone number, cell number right here, so we could text them those leads. And then right below that is for the two-way. We're also going to send it to the same number, but what this is used for is for two-way communication. So if someone needs to be able to communicate with those folks, like if I were to text in rent me to that phone number and got on the campaign, and then I said, and I texted back to that number saying, hey, can you give me some more information, or can I call you, or whatever, they're going to get the information as a two-way text. And when they'll actually get a link, which is this right here, where it says the phone number, and it shows their phone number, just sent you the following message, and it'll have the message in it and then the link to the two-way communication. What does IVR stand for? I had to go look it up. I just did Google IVR. Integrated voice something, I don't know. Somebody will probably tell us. But it's basically IVR. I should have started with that. You're right. IVR basically is a way for us to be able to set up a system where somebody could call in, and it could provide a menu where they could click 1 to subscribe to a campaign, and we're going to get into that part a little bit later, and 2 to be forwarded to a phone number, 3 to do different things. Okay, integrated voice recognition. Thank you, Jason. Jason S. All right, so anyway, getting back to this message is sent to the owner that wants to communicate with the folks, and it's like I said, it sends them the phone number and actually sends them a link to a little chat system and the actual message inside this. That's what this part does, this little short code. And so that's all we need to have in here so that they can communicate if somebody happens to respond by text. Okay? Does all this make sense so far? Setting up the campaign, that's all there is to do. This is on step, what is this step? This is step 4. This is the very top. Somebody's asking about it. Step 4. And then as we go further down, there's the other parts. All right. I'm going to provide this set of slides in Kajabi for you guys so you can download it. Okay. All right. So everybody understand how to set up a campaign? It's pretty easy, isn't it? There's not much to it. All we're going to do is the IVR portion. So we don't really have to do a whole lot. You could do a lot more, but we're just making it real super simple because all we're going to do is sell a IVR service to somebody. All right, so let's go on to the next part. We want to create the IVR. You could have started here, but we're going to actually create a new IVR. And the first thing you're going to see is actually setting up a title. So we're just going to give it KYD Cabin Rental. We're going to choose Robo Accents as USA and a male voice. And we're going to enable recordings because we want to be able to capture recordings if necessary on this. Let me look at my questions here. Let's see, 1 second. Interactive voice response. Okay, so it's interactive voice response. That sounds better, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be in the membership site, in the Kajabi Malam membership site, this whole tutorial, as well as a slide. So if you guys don't want to be here live, but I want you here live. You guys got to stay. Yeah, let me show you all this stuff. Let me get through this. I'll answer some of those questions you guys have here towards the end, okay? So hold your questions a little bit. All right, so the first step is creating the actual name. And like I said, you choose a Robo Accent and Robo Voice. The reason you would do that is if you didn't use recordings for everything. When I personally set this stuff up, I use recordings for everything. You can have it hired out or you can just do it yourself. I typically do it myself. It's not that big a deal. It's pretty easy to do. All right, so then the next thing is building the IVR. So you get to the next screen and you need to actually select a widget. And there's a lot of choices. So, and I'm going to go over each one of these. We're not going to use them all. We're just going to use a couple of them to build this particular campaign. But we're going to go over all of them so you guys know what each one does. So the first thing is greetings. And greetings is pretty easy. And the way, let me start over. This menu flows from top to bottom. So kind of keep that in mind. We're going to be building out basically a menu that people would go to. So when they dial the phone number, they hit the, whatever you have at first. So if I had greetings first, then they would hear a message, whatever I have in greetings. So it could be an MP3 file, or it could be the robo voice, which is what you would do is if you click text. So you have two choices here. You could pick text or MP3. So if I created this one as the first one, they would hear this greeting first. So that's kind of how it flows through, going through this. So greetings is just a greeting, and it could be, like I said, you could record a voice. Or you could do it by robo voice, which is when you pick text and then you just type out what you want the robo voices to say. It actually sounds pretty good. I listened to it. I think it would work just fine if you're trying to set up, some quick campaigns. But professional use, I personally prefer recorded, real people's voices. All right, so the next thing is SMS. Now in this, you would send an SMS text to the phone number of choice here. So you might notify somebody of something. So that's what you would do is you put a phone number you're going to text to, and you would enter the text. You might say this person just got to this particular menu function, or this person hit this part of the campaign, or this person chose one first and then did whatever. So you'd put this inside the IVR at some particular position. Usually it wouldn't be right away because you notify people in the regular lead notifications. It wouldn't be the very first thing. It would probably be in the midst of the menu, which again, I'm gonna go through a full one, fully done. I'm going through all these so you guys know what each one is. Let me see if I got any questions at this point. Yeah, the SMS comes to whoever you put in here. So whatever phone number you put in here, usually it's the owner of the campaign, the cabin in this case, the cabin rental place. You might tell somebody that they chose one to subscribe, or something of that nature. All right, so the next thing is email. It works exactly the same way, except that it's an email. And you can put in the address, subject line, body, email address. And the next thing is call forward. Call forward is basically just the phone number that you're going to forward this person to. And somebody asked about Whisper. Yes, Whisper is supported. And the way the Whisper works is whatever phone number you put in here, then when they receive that call, they'll receive whatever you put here. And then they'll receive the call. So a Whisper could be something like, this is a call from Joe's marketing agency. Here it comes. And then the call comes in. So it'd be something like that. Yeah, so these are all widgets that you can use in building out your system. I'm just going through each one so you know what it does. And then we're going to build one out. What else we got here? Okay, so let me get to some of those questions a little bit later. You guys are getting ahead of me here. All right, so you just can put a single phone number in here. It's not kind of a round table sort of thing at this point, but it's pretty simplistic. You just whatever number you want to forward them to. All right, so the next thing is record. And this is getting changed. I didn't notice that this said enter voicemail until I was actually recording this, but it should say email address. And so what happens is when you hit this particular widget, it records whatever somebody says on the phone, and then it's sent to whatever email address you have here. And the email address, the person receives a link to the recording, and they click it and they can listen to it. They don't have to log into the system to listen to it. All right, so the next thing is next menu. This is the main piece of building out a system is next menu. What next menu basically does is build out a menu of choices. And so in this case, I put just some examples here. When you click this thing, we're going to actually do this, but I'm just showing you a very small example. I click next menu, then it gave these all blank, and I put 1 in here and a 2 in here, and I chose greeting and recording. So in this situation, I would probably hit text and actually say something like press 1 to do greeting to get your greeting. I don't know, or press 2 to record, and then they would press 1 or 2 and it'd go to one of these widgets, whichever ones you chose here. So that's what next menu does. Just gives you choices of menus, and you can add as many as you want here. We just hit the, I believe it's the plus sign here, and it adds more. And we're going to do that too. Yeah, you could use departments. You could make these all call forward, and then have different departments to go to, different things like that. All right, so the next thing is subscribe. And what subscribe does is whatever the IVR campaign, I'm going to show you this at the very end, wherever the IVR campaign or the IVR itself is assigned to, whichever campaign it's assigned to, it's going to subscribe them to that campaign by this menus function here. And you could give them a response after they chose subscribe, or if they hit this point, if you put anything in here, they'll hear that. Or if you choose MP3, they'll hear whatever you have in the MP3. And then the last thing is very simply just hang up. And after each menu choice that you choose, you always want to have a hang up to make sure it doesn't flow to the next menu item. I learned that the hard way a long time ago when I first set this up. The best way to plan it out, I do it just in the IVR system itself. I think it's pretty simple to do it, but you could certainly write it out like in outline format, or in maybe using pencils, just a piece of paper and pencils with arrows and stuff. All right, let's keep going. Does anybody have any questions about this? Let's see. Hold on a second, guys. Let me see what we got here. Do you think this may evolve to the point where a client account could have multiple numbers? I'm not looking for full-scale call rail, call fire competitor, but if you could have multiple numbers per account. You know, those kind of things, if you have a feature request, I would try to talk about it in group, get people to say, yeah, we need it for our business, and then go in as a group and ask for the feature. You can also just ask for the feature by, hitting up support. So we could certainly do different things depending on what it is. Now, of course, our focus right now is getting the loyalty function finished, and that's what they're currently working on. All right, do you have to press 1 to person? I think I answered that one. What happens in the subscribe step? They just subscribe to the campaign the IVR is assigned to. Yeah, this is all being set up in Contact Reach. Yeah, Hugh, I'm going to be going over that right now, actually. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, let's keep going here. All right, so we're going to actually set up the campaign now. We have to select the widget. We're going to choose greeting first. So this is going to be the very first thing that people see. And I'm going to give you guys a link to the full campaign, the way it was built here at the end. So I'm going to show you different aspects kind of together. You'll see the flow. And then at the end, I'm going to show you the whole thing all on one basically image that you guys can be able to take with you. Okay. So we'll show you all that. But this is the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit greetings. In this case, I'm using Robo Voice because I chose text, and I just have this message in here because I know what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make them have make a choice. So I put greeting in here. Now I could have chosen MP3 and then record this in my own voice. So you could do that if you wanted to, but either one. But now I'm going to hit this little plus sign up here to add another widget down below it. And I went, and it's blank here normally, and I chose next menu as one of the 8 or so widgets. I chose that next because I want to have a menu choice, because I want them to be able to choose 1, 2, or 3 here. And then down here below here, we're going to actually take this to a separate page here. we are going to add another choice. Now we did that by clicking this little plus sign up here. And when we did that, we ended up with additional choice. We wanted to have 3 choices. And so I'm going to choose as the first one a greeting. And I'm going to put in, please leave a message at the beep. So the first choice would be 1, leave a message at the beep. And so that's how I get that. And then I'm going to add this. I'm going to hit this little arrow sign here and add more to this function. By doing that arrow, I get this other widget. This belongs to this greeting. So if somebody hits 1, they hit the greeting first, then they hit the next thing. And the next thing I'm going to choose to record the message. And then I'm going to put an email address in the enter voicemail spot, which probably says enter email now. But so that recording gets sent to that person. And then I'm going to have to move this to a different page. So now I'm going to hit the plus sign here. I'm going to add another widget, and I'm going to actually hang up. And so that concludes the first choice. So we went and we started with, back here, 1 as a greeting, and we took it all the way through to the very end, which was to record and then hang up. And so then we're going to add another one, or I should say the 2 is below that, is actually below that. When you were actually on the campaign, it would show the 2 below that and the 3 down here. So on 2, we're going to have another choice that will be subscribe. So we're going to pick subscribe, and then we're going to give them, when they hit this, when they hit 2, they'll actually subscribe to the campaign, and then we're going to give them this message back. So as soon as they hit 2, it'll say thanks for subscribing. All right, and then we're going to hang up. So you notice we hang up after we're done with everything to do with 2. After everything we're done with 1, we hung up. Same thing with 2. We want to make sure we hang up at the end. And then as we scroll down a little bit further, we have 3, and we're just going to hang up. So 3, the third choice would be to hang up. Now the full campaign, if you want to pull up the actual IVR, it's at this link here. Let me see if I can, let me get out of here and see if I can get you guys that link in chat. 1 second. Make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing here. What did I do? Oh my gosh. Okay. Phew. All right, let me put that back up. All right, so you can pull that up and you can actually see the full campaign as built, as I just went through, up on your screen. So at this point, I want to stop just to see if you guys have any questions before we go and assign it to the campaign. Let me see what we got here. Okay, so so these are, trying to see where I left off here. What gets transferred to the campaign they subscribe to? Their phone number is the only thing that gets, in this situation, their phone number is just, it would be just as if they texted in the keyword to the campaign when you hit a subscribe function in the IVR menu. And yes, the IVR function is available now. It's been available for quite a while, actually. IVR is actually also available in the appointment reminder too. Can you build out caller extensions? No, it's choices. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. How to use a subscribe to collect emails and submit emails? What you do is you send them, instead of the welcome message saying whatever, you put the link to your you put the form code in there, and then it would send them the form code by text. and then you put the wording in front of the form code. So you put percentage form percentage inside the welcome message, and it would send that back to them. But remember, I'm just setting up something simple. I'm making it so that the cabin rental place can put a phone number out there, say call this number, and then when the person calls the number, they get the choices. Now I'd made a very simplistic setup. I'd probably have something like, some other choices, probably, forwarding messages and things of that nature. But I made it so if somebody has a brochure and they call a phone number that's on the brochure, they have an opportunity to get a link to the actual website where they can actually sign up for the cabin rental. Can you have them forwarded to a web page? You can. You just send them a link inside the welcome message. I'm about to go through how to assign the IVR to the campaign, but I'm asking questions as to if you guys understand how this has been set up. Is there any questions about how to set up an IVR? Yeah, I don't have a campaign link to share with you guys. Sorry. I'm going through a sample, basically an example. Can you collect the emails in a text campaign ported to an autoresponder? Yeah, I'm not sure about that question, but there's import functions inside the campaign. It's just when you list out your campaigns, you do the actions button and there's an import. Okay. All right. The contact is being posted in CR contacts automatically. Yes, when they either text in that keyword that I showed you a little bit ago, the rent me or whatever it was, they are added to the campaign. Or if they call the phone number and they choose to subscribe in the subscribe menu, then yes, they also get put inside the campaign as a phone number. So then you can send a broadcast out. All right, so let me just jump over to the actual campaign again. If you go to step 3, all the way to the bottom, you'll see the by call area. Now you should see your IVR campaign that you set up. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you think about this, when somebody's calling a phone number and you have it do this by call IVR thing, you have to realize you cannot assign the same IVR, or I'm sorry, you can't assign the same phone number the same phone number can have multiple IVR campaigns, because how would it know which IVR system to send it to, right? So you have to make sure, and it will warn you if you try to do this, if you have an IVR on this phone number that's inside this campaign already, on another campaign, you wouldn't be able to choose this. You'll be able to pick it, but it's going to tell you can't save it. So it's just something to keep in mind is obviously you can only have one IVR campaign per phone number. But anyway, so we're going to choose our KYD cabin rental, and then we're going to save it. Now, if we go back to the IVR menu, you'll see there's a couple other menu items here. One is the MP3 list. This is where you would put your greetings, your different, if you didn't want to use the robo voice, you would record your stuff and then upload them into this area, and then you could use them inside the actual IVR system. So in that case, you wouldn't choose text, you'd choose MP3, and then you would have a choice of picking one of these. And this is the area that you use to manage all those. And then under recordings, this is where you have the recording. So if somebody leaves a message, if you have that choice, then the recordings would all be put in here. But remember, you can also send in this case, the cabin rental place, a link to each recording as they come in. They don't ever have. And that's it. That's all I had for setting up IVR. It's really not that complicated. It's just a matter of trying it out. And that's really the best way to do is just try this out yourself and see what you get. Super easy to set up. I'm going to look for some questions here and see if we have any. But that is all I have on IVR, guys. Yeah, each campaign with an IVR needs to have its one unique phone number. That is correct. Yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't know which one to send it to. All right. I'm looking to see if there's any other questions here. I think I've answered almost everything. This is going to be the shortest Blam webinar ever. Yeah, Jason's going to give you guys some ideas about IVR. I just gave you one of my own. I mean, this is something that I don't know that anybody's really doing much of. It's so easy to set up and so easy to maintain. You guys could, I think you could crush it if you go hit enough rental places. I think it would work in real estate too. I mean, I think people are already doing the real estate signs and stuff like that. I've seen some people doing things of that nature. But remember, that's just one aspect of your campaign. You can also use a keyword. You can also do it by form. There's all different kind of methodologies of getting on that campaign. IVR is just one of them. And I truly think every campaign should have an IVR set up on it, just in case someone decides, I think I'll call that number. Why not have something on there? All right, I see some questions coming in here. Call to subscribe to a form, then send the form link in the welcome text. I don't know what you're trying to ask me there. But basically, if you have this set up the way I've got it set up, and you put in the welcome message the percentage form percentage, then it will send them a link to the form, and they can fill out the form, and you can get more information on that person. But a lot of times, all you're going to get is a phone number and this kind of thing. People driving by signs or getting brochures, they're not really wanting to give a whole lot of information. It's best just to let them get what they're looking for and then try to follow up. Pricing. I haven't said anything about pricing. I wouldn't charge anybody more than $100 plus maybe some kind of maximum limit of voice. You have to look up the call pricing on that. It's not that expensive, but you don't want to have it unlimited. I don't know. Anybody have some people asking for me to give examples of ways of using this to make money? You guys got some ideas? Anybody got any ideas? I'll share them. If anybody's out there crushing it with IVR, I'll bring you on. You could talk about it a little bit. We got time. Let's see. Can I set this up on countries outside the US? Yes, you can. Anywhere Twilio is. Okay, can you run over how it would look from the customer's point of view? Run the scenario. Sure can. So in this case, it's a KYD, whatever they're called, the rental company. The rental, when I'm all set up, ready to go, all they're going to do is get phone calls from customers. That they're going to actually get the voicemails messages from the customers, and they're going to get phone numbers for every customer that texts in or goes and calls the number to get more information. So they could follow up with phone calls or do whatever they want. Now you could go a lot more complicated than that. You could have a choice to forward the calls to the owner or to a phone bank or something of that nature. I mean, it's really limitless as to what you could do. That would be up to the customer what they would want. But that's just a simple, if somebody sticks brochures all over the place, they want to have a way to manage those calls. Yeah, their cost for running an IVR campaign is just the Twilio fees. That's correct. A simple phone call, customer calls the number, it rings on your cell phone and records. Yeah, you could do that. All you have to do is on the menu choice you just choose call forward, and then put whatever phone number you want on there, and then it's just going to forward the call. And I believe it automatically records if you set the IVR to record automatically. Okay, what would you include in the product cover? How much would I charge? I would charge $99 a month for something like that, what I just showed you. Super easy to set up and pretty, not very, people wouldn't have any problem paying that. Can we use IVR for broadcast also? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I know you could broadcast to those numbers. There's pricing for using IVR. It comes with contact reach. If I believe you guys should all have IVR enabled. If you don't, hit up support. Yeah, it is great income if you use for lead gen. Yep, you could use it as a value-added upsell. You could close somebody with little things like this. If you told you tried to sell them, a regular campaign, then said, "Oh, I tell you what, I'll throw this in," and you could describe it, and you saw how quick I set it up. So yeah, it's a great upsell for a bundle package to kind of close the deal. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're wrapping it up. I don't see anybody else asking any questions. A lot of stuff's a little off topic. Let's see if I can answer some of those. Yes, you can send, let's see, can you send voice broadcasts with contact reach? Yes, I believe so. I'm getting a little confused with appointment reminder, but I know we're doing those with appointment reminder right now. I've been working on that actually quite a bit. Can it be used in Facebook? I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're pretty much done. Let's see if we broke any records here, because I think, yeah, 37 minutes. That's really the shortest call ever. But I think we did really good. We went over IVR. If you guys have any other issues or questions about IVR specifically, just get with support and they can help you with setup. Or if you guys want to discuss some of it inside of Facebook, I'd be glad to join that. But IVR is very, very powerful. You can do a lot with it. And I think it's very, very underutilized. There's a whole business model you can do with IVR, but that's all I've got. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for coming, and I really appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.